Today, we're going to talk about a case from Kanpur, and I have to warn you, it's incredibly difficult to get your head around. But it's a story we need to understand. It all starts, and tragically ends, with something truly unimaginable.
So, how did this all come to light? Well, it started with a phone call, way before sunrise, at 4:30 in the morning. And the person on the other end of the line, it wasn't a witness, it wasn't a victim, it was the man who did it, calling the police on himself.
And look, this isn't just a rumor or some kind of story. This is a direct quote from the Kanpur DCP, Deepender Nath Chowdhury. He confirmed it. The call happened, the confession was right there on the phone, and it kicked off what would become an absolutely chilling investigation.
So let's start right there, with that phone call. That's the moment this private, family tragedy exploded into the public view.
You know, before that call, everything seemed completely normal. Just another evening in an apartment in Kidwainagar. You've got a family of 5, the father, Shashi Ranjan Mishra, his wife Reshma, their little 6-year-old son, and their 11-year-old twin daughters. They all sat down and had dinner together. Just a totally ordinary night.
And that's what makes what happened next so hard to wrap your head around. It just forces you to ask, what on earth could have happened between that family dinner and that horrifying phone call to the police?
Okay, so let's try to go inside the apartment. Figuratively speaking, let's piece together the timeline of what we know happened that night.
And when you look at the timeline, the window of time here is just terrifyingly short. It all starts with that normal dinner. Then, at 2:30 in the morning, CCTV footage actually catches the father taking one of his daughters to the bathroom. And then, just 2 hours later, at 4:30 a.m., he's on the phone with the police, confessing that he murdered them. Both of them.
And the details he gave to the police in his confession, they're just harrowing. He apparently admitted to everything. He said he mixed sleeping pills into his daughter's food. After they were unconscious, he strangled them. And then, he used a cleaver that he had gone out and bought just the day before.
This kind of violence, it just doesn't come out of nowhere, right? I mean, buying the cleaver the day before, this wasn't just a sudden snap. It makes you ask a much deeper question. What was really going on inside that family? What was happening behind closed doors that could possibly lead to something so catastrophic? Well, to even try to understand, we have to look back. We have to dig into the family's history and the troubles that were apparently brewing for a long time.
It seems like this marriage was completely fractured. It was like 2 different realities were existing under the same roof. On his side, you have Shashi, who was apparently getting incredibly suspicious. We're talking accusing his wife of infidelity, even installing CCTV cameras inside their own house. He reportedly told her to just pack up and leave with their son. But for Reshma, she was living in this strange isolation. She was apparently barred from even going into his room, which is where the daughters often stayed. And this wasn't something new. This wasn't a fight that just blew up. They got married way back in 2014, and it sounds like over the years, their relationship just got more and more strained, more turbulent. It created this tense, hostile atmosphere in the one place that's supposed to be safe.
So that family turmoil, that's one big piece of the puzzle. But to get any closer to a motive, we also need to look at what was going on with the father himself, personally.
And it really seems like it was a perfect storm of stressors, all crashing down on him at once. Reports say he was battling depression, which got a lot worse after his mother died a few months before this. People described him as becoming more and more unstable. He was apparently using alcohol and sleeping pills. And on top of all that, he was unemployed after a business he tried to start had failed.
And what's so tragic is that it looks like there were warning signs. I mean, clear verbal warnings. His wife Reshma told the police something absolutely chilling. She said he had talked about ending his own life before, but he had also talked about dying along with the children.
Wow, when you hear that, it's like you can almost hear the clock ticking. The whole situation was just a time bomb waiting to go off. So now, in the terrible aftermath, after the explosion, what happens now?
And that brings us to the final part of this story, the aftermath. We're going to look at the investigation that's happening right now, and how everyone, from the police to the family, is trying to make some sense out of something that feels, well, completely senseless.
So, officially, the police investigation is really zeroing in on Shashi Mishra's mental state. They're trying to figure out just how deep his psychological issues went, and a key question is whether he was getting any kind of psychiatric help before all this happened.
But you know, for the mother, Reshma, who went to sleep one night and woke up in an absolute nightmare, all these legal questions, these psychological analyses, they probably don't mean much right now. Her feelings are much more raw, much more direct. When she was asked what should happen to her husband, she had just 3 words to say: hang him now. And that's where this story leaves us. A case like this, it's so much more than just a shocking headline. It really forces us to confront some tough questions, doesn't it? It makes you think about the invisible crises that can be tearing families apart. And it really shines a light on that dangerous, tragic intersection where mental health struggles, domestic conflict, and financial stress can all collide.